Okay, so I'm back with another video. I wanted to make this video, which is about some of the history that has happened, that has occurred over the last 30 something years. Really, the last 30 something years, I would say. And it has to do again with employment and unemployment and underemployment. Um, and how I don't really like to talk about, employment discrimination. But employment discrimination is a really big part of the 21st century history and some of the later 20th century history, starting after the civil rights movement, from the 70s up until now. Um, when in my last video, I talked about kind of how my I felt like my fate was in the hands of these employers, and whether or not they were responsive to my application, whether they liked me in interviews, whether or not they were going to hire me, whether or not I was going to be starting sooner or later, whatever it was, it felt like a painfully slow process and a um, painfully uh, tedious process. And I found myself being kind of weighed down by a lot of emotion. And I'm not talking about joy and happiness. I'm talking about just vulnerability. Um, and I find myself experiencing these emotions too often. Um, Now, for me in particular, it has nothing to do with discrimination. For me, it has to do with transportation and me not having a car and having to work with what's accessible to me by bus and by foot. So that's how that's affected me is something that's been thematic for the last 10 years, since for about 10 years now. um I would say it's not a joyous process. It could be a joyous process, but it's not. There's a lot of vulnerability that goes into looking for work and securing work. I imagine that when you are set and stable and you've worked the job for at least a year, that those feelings go away, and there's some consistency, there's some efficiency, there's some routine, and there's a rhythm, and things start to make sense. But that hasn't been my experience so far. A lot of it is because I put a lot of time into my education over the last 10 years. And so employment has always been on my mind, but um, it I work a job. I would work a job here for about 3 months and then get another job later, like later in the year for about 3 months. So I've had these seasonal positions. Um, and it's just been really hard for me to kind of stabilize. Um, I don't know how many people are feeling like that. I don't know how many people are going through an experience like this. But I just hope that it doesn't last too long. I want, I want unemployment to go down. I want more people to have jobs. I want underemployment to go down. I want more people to have adequate hours and adequate pay. Those are some things that I want. Um, I would like to see um, I would like to see that happen. Um, yeah, I think that's it. I think that's pretty much it.